New witnesses, leaked photos, buried evidence. Kash Patel's story about the Charlie Kirk assassination is collapsing fast. And the NBA drama? That's just a blatant cover-up. And I'm about to expose it all using footage from someone who was at UVU on September 10th. His name is Chance, and he was sitting right in the front row when Charlie was assassinated. Since then, he's shared several videos describing what he saw that day and what he's been through ever since. But the deeper I looked into his story, the stranger things got. I first came across him through a TikTok. In that clip, without even realizing it, he exposed just how bizarre this entire investigation has been. I reposted the video on X, and it blew up overnight. But almost immediately after that, the video disappeared from his account with no warning, no explanation, just gone. At first, I thought maybe TikTok took it down, probably because Larry Ellison's new algorithm didn't like what was in it. But then yesterday, out of nowhere, the guy finally broke his silence. He explained why he had to delete it, and what he revealed shows how they're burying witnesses.
So I initially didn't want to delete the video, but I ended up just doing it because apparently all the comments on that video, apparently I'm under a gag order, which I didn't know even existed, and I don't really know what it is still, and I kind of don't want to risk it being bad for me and my family. So I don't think, I didn't really say anything too involved with like what the gag order was, I'm pretty sure, but there was one thing I said in the video that was like, they could be mad about that for some reason. So I didn't want to delete it, but I figure it's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'll just delete it. Maybe I can explain it in a different video when the gag order isn't around. But yeah, kind of strange. But yeah, I just decided to delete it because me and my wife were talking about it, and it's just strange.
Look, I've been saying this from the very beginning. They've found some way to silence every single witness. That's why nobody's talking about what they saw that day. And it's not because they don't care, it's because they're scared. They just don't want to get tangled up in a legal mess or end up on some government watch list. So they stay quiet. And that's exactly how you cover up something like this. You don't just bury the evidence, you also make sure people are too scared to even talk about it. Now, about what Chance revealed in that deleted video, this is where things get interesting.
If you're new to seeing my face, I was in the front row of the Charlie Kirk thing. It's kind of hard for me to say it, but I was there. If you haven't seen all that, go to my page, you'll see all of it. But what I'm going to talk about right now is the interview that I had on Real America's Voice. They reached out to me after seeing my videos. Long story short, they reach out to me like on an interview, like on the news. At the end of the interview, basically he was like, okay, real quick, like long story short, has the FBI like reached out to you yet to see like your witness statement, like whatnot? And I just said no. And it was like this kind of dramatic like no. And he was like, well, okay, wow.
You see, even days after the shooting, the FBI still had not interviewed him. It was almost as if they didn't even know he existed. But that suddenly changed after he gave an interview to Real America's Voice.
And I heard the shot, and immediately, like, when something like that happens in a crowd of people like that, you want to, like, almost question what's going on. Like, that didn't just happen. And so that's what was kind of going through my head. And at first I wanted to downplay it and like think it was some kid like doing a prank.
Have the FBI and the authorities contacted you very quick?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe they should.
The moment that interview went public, he got on someone's radar because the very next day he got the call.
And then the next day I get a call from an unknown number. And I was like, huh, that's weird. I wonder who this is. Like, I literally thought in my head, I'm like, oh, this has to be like the FBI. He called me and he was like, hey, is this Chance Gilbert? And I was like, yes. Like, hey, man, in our records, somehow we found you, and were you there on like the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination? And I was like, yes, I was. So the dude called me and he's like, hey, is this Chance? And I was like, yeah. Found you on our records, like facial recognition or something that you like might have been at the Charlie Kirk assassination event. And I was like, yeah, that's me. It was like probably like 2 weeks after the actual event for timeline. I was like, yeah, man, like I was there. And he's like, yeah, what we would like to have you do is come in to like come down to the station, and get like a verbal statement and a written statement from you, like an official statement. Yeah. I was just like, yeah, man, like I love to help.
I don't think they ever used facial recognition, but if they had, they wouldn't be asking the public to identify the shooter.
Any videos or photos that you might have, the public, should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. Again, that is fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. You can also provide general tips about the shooting by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI, or at tips.fbi.gov.
No, I think some agent saw the interview and brought Chance in for an interview to cover his own ass. But pay attention to how they handled him. During the interview, they subtly planted the idea that he might have to testify in court.
And it was all just like over phone number, which I was kind of surprised about, just like texting with a SBI agent. He was like, yeah, come here, pull up. And I was like, all right, bet. My buddy's was like 20 minutes long, and mine was 2 hours. When I got in, he was like, hey, yeah, how's it going? Yeah, my name's Agent Schultz, yada, yada. Basically what this is for are just court hearings, or like the court, if they need to like get witness statements or like watch witness statements to see what happened, like that they can. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, I'd love to share.
And that's all it takes. One comment like that, and most people will just shut down completely, especially when they could see people talking about the gag order on the news.
There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous, to say the least.
His lawyers entered their formal appearance and declined to waive his right to a preliminary hearing. Judge Tony Graff has issued a gag order preventing anyone associated with the case from talking about it.
Now, over time, I've learned not to take anyone's word at face value in this case. Still, Chance strikes me as someone who's just trying to make sense of it all, even if that means repeating what the officials say. He even seems to agree with the official theory about where the shot came from.
The booth. So this would be my right and this would be my left. When I heard the shot go off, my eyes flicked this way. So directly to the right and behind me is where I heard the shot coming from. From what I can tell, what it sounded like is it came from back there where it could have been. It did sound a little bit closer than that far away, but it could have been just the sound ricocheting off of, because we were like in a dome, we were in like a pavilion, like the sound effect of it might have sounded different because we were in such an enclosed space.
Could Chance be spinning a story? It's possible, but if he's not, if even half of what he's saying is true, then it sure feels like someone's been working hard behind the scenes to silence anyone who tried to tell the truth about what they saw. And honestly, if that's not a cover-up, then what is? But of course, Kash Patel isn't addressing any of our questions. Instead, he's suddenly busy busting an NBA sports betting ring.
I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country.
Not gonna lie, I half expected him to start talking about Valhalla or the number 33 again, but maybe he just forgot the script this time. What's funny is they claimed they were gonna, quote, take a lot of heat for going after these millionaire gamblers.
It's not popular to go after some of the defendants that we went after today, but justice is served blindly. And how do we countermand that? Simple. The unsealing of these indictments today shows the force of the Department of Justice and our great Attorney General and the leadership that we have at the FBI and the team here to specifically mete out justice. And look, let's not, mince words. This is the insider trading saga for the NBA. That's what this is. That's why we are going to take heat.
This whole circus looks like a distraction, a staged sideshow to pull attention away from what's really going on. Because if they were actually serious about putting LeBron in jail, they'd start by asking what the hell he was doing at Diddy's infamous freak-off parties.
Like everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
But Kash Patel doesn't seem too interested in investigating Diddy or explaining this photo, because this guy looks exactly like Tyler Robinson. Same build, same outfit, nearly identical to what Tyler was wearing in that CCTV video. Sure, we know he's a different guy thanks to a different picture, but the question remains, how many clones of Tyler were hanging around the UVU campus that day? And here's the part that doesn't add up. None of these supposed lookalikes are wearing what the only witness said the shooter was wearing.
We met an electrician working near the university who says someone matching that description approached a co-worker at this job site.
He had black sunglasses, he had a black COVID mask, he had a black trench coat, black cargo pants, and he was wearing a small backpack, and he also had long, greasy black hair. The guy said, someone's been shot.
Looking back on it, did that person think that was the shooter now?
The guy was already trying to leave. And so we were then shown a picture by the sheriff at the time, and the excavator said that it matched.
So what's going on here? Why are there so many doubles, and why does Kash Patel seem so desperate to keep our eyes somewhere else?